This is ODM channel.
Chinmayam vyapiyat sarvam trailokyam sacharacharam tatpadam darshitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. In the infinite consciousness, there is infinite potential, which means in that anything is possible. Even the impossible is made possible. Who by nature is eternal, timeless, in that no modification, no change is possible. Therefore, no creation as such is possible. Because to create something has to go through a change. Then how will we call it as infinite? Therefore, it has a unique potential of creating without undergoing any change. And that creation can only be a projection and illusion in which the cause, the substratum, undergoes no change but appears as something else. This has been called as that unique, inexplicable power, Maya. But the Maya's manifestation is the mind. When with the mind of the Creator, the whole creation comes forth. There is only one mind. There is only one consciousness. But in that, this illusion takes place of many entities, many minds. So a simple understanding at first is that there is total mind, and each individual mind is a part of the total mind. In the infinite consciousness, there can be no part, there can be no whole also. There is only one without a second. But in the total mind, the individual mind is a part of it, we say. And we create this sense of individuality. Now our individual minds have got so much power and ability. You can imagine what is the power of the total mind. Our individual minds have got some knowledge, some ability. Imagine the power, the knowledge and the ability of the total mind. We with our mind create our little world. Imagine what the total mind has created. Even till now we cannot fathom. But the discovery of the rishis were that this part and whole is also an illusion only. For there is only one. There is only one Paramatma. There is only one consciousness. But this whole division, this whole uniqueness has been created by the mind. Identifying with some thoughts, we become this individual. The simple understanding is that when consciousness gets reflected in this individual mind, becomes the jiva. And when consciousness reflects in the total mind, that total mind becomes Ishvara or Hiranyagarbha technically, but for simple understanding, Ishvara, Lord, the total creator of the universe. But even if we understand that our minds are part of that total mind, which means we all have that capacity, that ability which is there in the total mind. Yet our understanding today is that we have only limited power that has got total power. Now imagine if this individual mind were to connect with the total mind, what would happen? Today we can understand this very easily. However latest, sophisticated computer you have, and whatever must be its memory, and very interesting, whatever must be its RAM, RAM only. To that capacity, speed, ability, power, the computer works, and to only that extent it can store certain information. But when you get in line with the, or just say when you connect to the internet, get online, what happens? That limited computer gets connected to the source of all knowledge in the world, is it not? And you can access it even in the limited computer. In the same manner, when this individual mind connects with the total mind, whether through prayer, whether through various pujas, etc., or whether through japa or through dhyana or meditation, as we attune to the total mind, we connect with the total knowledge, the total information, the total power behind this universe. Now, even in a limited sense, and when we listen to it, if we only try to practice, we can see the wonder. And here I'm not saying practice is that we know but we don't practice. No. At these subtle levels, when we practice, we can see it. Just as when you work individually, your achievements are, great achievements are possible, but still it is limited. But when you work as a team, and that the team is also united and everybody is in tune with each other, not creating conflict, my opinion, my mind, your mind, no, my religion, your religion, no. When that doesn't happen, when we are ready to surrender our individuality to the totality, by recognizing that how we are part of this one totality, then we begin to discover what amazing achievements we can have. How much time goes away in people's selfishness, each one wanting their position, their recognition, their power, their name, that if you see that so much goes with this ego's conflict, and ego is also in the mind only, no? The conflicts of mind, that really what success we can bring about. I'm not just talking monetary success. What success we can bring about is amazing. And in the total success, can you imagine what is my individual success? So when we are ready to surrender this limited ego for the totality, we recognize that in such, even though we see an individual personality, the power, the will of the totality flows through that person. Now see how amazingly this was part of our upbringing, family culture. Learning to respect our elders, learning to obey our elders. And that way there was complete unity in the family. Even then there were some who were more productive, some who were less productive. Some made more, some made less. In the true spirit of Yajna, everything was shared. And the family became so powerful, a family to reckon with. But when the conflict happens, what happens? There are many external forces in the world that try to break it up. What happened to our country, Bharat, when individual kingdoms only thought about themselves? Even 5,000 years or 7,000 years ago, why did Krishna leave his peaceful Dwarka, which was completely protected and was in no danger and required nothing? It was the most prosperous, the most powerful, that even Duryodhan wanted the help, Shakuni wanted the help of Dwarka's army. Balram went away for a Tirth Yatra. But Krishna got into the middle of the battlefield, becoming the charioteer. That means taking all the weapons on him first. Just imagine. Because if the center of the country, which rules, guides the entire country, when the center itself is about to split up. Can you imagine what will happen to the other states, other provinces, other kingdoms? The beauty of India has always been that in the diversity, we have seen unity. Diversity is the part and parcel of creation. Yet there is a golden string that binds everyone together. And we forget that golden string, and each individual becomes an island on its own. Then conflict arises. Borders are made. Wars are fought. And so much destruction takes place that we are constantly reconstructing. How many sources of knowledge the barbarians come destroy? And then we reinvent, then we patent it, then we have royalties. And again, all that is destroyed. That we keep reinventing the wheel. Really, progress never takes place. We never learn from our past. Thus, where we create in the differences distinctions, we are disconnecting from the totality. Thus, anxiety, frustration, fear, insecurity, selfishness, anger, all these negativities appear. And therefore we pray that in that mind, Shiva Sankalpamastu. Let there be Shiva Sankalpa. And what is the Shiva Sankalpa? That let me know that there is only one total mind, and the greatest sankalpa is that Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tva Sarva Papebhya Mokshayishami Masucha. Here's the secret. You surrender to the infinite, or one step before that, you surrender to the totality. You surrender to Ishvara. You surrender to the total mind. All your sins are destroyed. How? When you take a spoon of salt water, salt, and put it in glass of water, you can't even drink it, is it not? That salt is so much. That same glass you put in a big pot, the salt effect is less. You can drink it. You put that salt in the lake, it is insignificant. See what happens? It is as good as nothing. One another beautiful example Gurudev used to give, that whenever you mothers go to the hostel or the room of your children, which you expect that they will keep it clean, and nowadays so they see American movies and with their shoes they sleep on the bed, filthy. That bag which we carry in such dirty places and in the aircraft, with all that people put on the bed. Because there's nothing else, so people put on the bed. When you see that, and the bed has become, the sheet has become totally crumpled, and in that crumpled sheet so much dust has gathered. But that lazy fellow, tamasic fellow, does not even want to clean it up. And if you immediately put it in the water to wash, the whole water will become bad. The cloth also will get the color. What does the mother do? She takes that crumpled bedsheet with all the dirt in it, goes to the veranda, spreads it and shakes it, and all the dust falls off. Then you put for a wash. It won't stain it. Same way, we expand our mind, we connect with the totality, we reduce our ego and individuality and selfishness. Then that mind which discovers its oneness with the total mind. This is still a step down from the reality, please understand. But even there, the powers that manifest in that mind. And really speaking, if you have to create anything, you have to have knowledge. Knowledge is power. Even knowledge that you have some power is necessary for you to express your power. If you don't have the knowledge of it, you can't even express your power. Hanumanji had all the power. As a child, he could jump up to the sun. But he stood there in front of the 800-mile ocean and didn't do anything. Till Jamban reminded him of his power and reminded him about his purpose. Pavana Tanaya Bala Sapavana Samana. If you are the son of the total powerful wind, your power is also like the wind. Remember when I started today? If you are part of the total mind, you also have that power of the total mind, the ability of the total mind. But we are so tied up with our limited individuality and with criticizing people's limitations that we do not discover our greater powers. But to bring up that power, we must have the purpose of life clear. And the purpose of life is Ram Kaj Lagi Tava Avatara. You are here to fulfill the will of the Lord, the will of the totality. So we have explained to you in such depth, other than simple statement, thy will be done. Surrender to the Lord. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Thus, when we surrender our limitedness, our individuality, our ego, our selfishness, we get connected to the totality. And the totality's knowledge and power flows through us. This we have understood. The next two verses become very, very simple to understand, where the great Rishi is pointing out to us that it is in this mind all the knowledge of the Veda, the Rig, Sam, Yajur, Veda, are all in this mind, which is like the hub and like the spokes. Please switch off your phone. If you don't know, just ask someone beside you. Sometimes I know you don't know how to do it. It is a very subtle matter. Today, last day, the mind has to connect with the totality. Don't bring it out to your virtual reality. Please read it.
Yasmin richa sama yajumshi Yasmin pratisthita rathanabha vivara Yasmin chittam sarvamotam prajanam संकल्पमस्तु
In our this province only, you have the famous Konark temple, and it's very famous for the wheel of the chariot. This example has very often been taken in the Upanishads, in the Vedas, but here again it is pointed out that this mind, yasmin in which richa sama yajumshi are established, pratishtitaha rathanabhav iva. Just as in the hub of the chariot, araha spokes. So here is a beautiful metaphor given that just as there is a hub, a center of the wheel, and then there are spokes of the wheel, and the rim of the wheel that moves the chariot is moved as well as strengthened by the spokes which are centered in the hub. And from there, all these move the wheel and strengthen the wheel also, that it does not become crooked, etc. And here a beautiful metaphor is given that there is a center hub, the mind, on which the Rig, Sam and Yajur mantra. Now we say there are 4 Vedas, then why only 3 are mentioned here? Actually, 4 volumes were created by Ved Vyasa, and even Atharva mantras are mentioned in the Veda itself. But this division is made according to the prose, music and metric verses. Therefore Yajur, Sam and Rik mantras. Veda is considered to be the source of all knowledge. It gives you the knowledge of the universe, its various laws, and how we must remain in tune with those laws so that we benefit and not harm ourselves and the world. And that is called as dharma. And it also reveals to us that which we cannot know with our individual minds. And that is the nature of truth, reality, the infinite. Brahma. So dharma and Brahma. And this is only that is to be really known. The essential laws of nature, how to live in harmony with those laws, and how to transcend everything that you're seeing in the evening and discover that infinite substratum, this adhishthan of the world. This is the theme. All this is revealed in the Veda. That's all that we need to live our life happily, joyfully, productively, growing, and eventually liberating ourselves by knowing the truth. All that knowledge is there in the Veda. And this Vedic knowledge is not, and in fact, no knowledge is produced by us. Knowledge, even by Newton, of gravity was discovered. And how did Newton discover gravity? Apple falls or something falls on everybody's head at some period of time, if not a bird dropping. It falls on your head, is it not? But you only get upset or you eat the fruit. But when your mind connects in inquiry to the totality, Archimedes for how many years was trying to find out the solution to measuring irregular objects. But when in the bathtub, he was relaxed. See how that knowledge got revealed to him. This Veda knowledge is not some concept of an intellect, not a philosophy. We translate in English philosophy, but we understand philosophy as some man's conceptual idea. It's a concept of the mind. And in Kenopanishad clearly said that it is not a concept of the mind, because the mind cannot think about it. It is that because of which the mind thinks. And if you think that you have conceptualized it, you've grasped it, you've held on to it, you've understood it, then you've understood nothing. With such statements, they have pointed out that knowledge is not the product of your mind. It is to be discovered. And when do we discover? Because this knowledge is fully there in the mind of the Creator. Because only with knowledge can we create. Thus in the mind of the Creator, in the total mind, are the Rig, Sam, Yajur mantra. And why we call this as Sanatan Dharma, that nobody can destroy it, because this knowledge is not dependent on one person's teaching who is long dead and can be misinterpreted. Wherever there is a mind that surrenders to the totality, even now can discover this knowledge. In fact, it is said that literally these mantras can be heard, and therefore rishis were called as mantra drashta. They were not mantra karta. Not mantra rachayita. They were mantra drashta. They heard these mantras. Thus, in the infinite, this knowledge is there. And therefore, also in this world, we can get this knowledge from those only who have connected to the totality. Otherwise, there is no source of gaining this knowledge. So, as we contemplate on these verses, as we have been elaborating every day, the wheel of your life, the progress of your life takes place only when you have got knowledge. And this mind, when it connects with the total mind, it has the capacity to gain the knowledge of the Rig, Sam and Yajur mantra, which is revealed to it. Today, even to memorize these 6 verses, we find difficult, is it not? See what have we made up of our mind. But in this mind only, leave alone read and memorize, you can discover the knowledge of the Veda. It becomes your knowledge. And with that knowledge, we can speed our progress in life. It strengthens the wheel of our life and most important, connected to the hub. It directs the wheel of our life. Therefore, when we are centered in the total mind, surrendered to the total mind, then not only the wheel of our life moves at great speed, but in the right direction. Therefore, O Lord, let there be Shiva Sankalpa. Let me have the knowledge of the Veda, of Dharma and of our true nature, Brahma. Being centered in the self or centered in the Lord. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasah nirashir nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigatajvara. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, dedicating all your actions to me. Dedicating means being grateful that all the actions are from me. Centered in the self means not distracted, not self-centered. There's a difference. Huh? Which means mind operating from the heart, centered in the self, operating from its purity of operating from its knowledge. You face the challenges of life without any limitations, regrets and sorrows of the past. Without any ego. Because your ego is nothing but the memory of your past achievements and failures. Second, without worry about the future. Because past, present, future is in the mind of the Creator. He has already set the mark. You only take the glory. Nimitta matra bhava savya sachi. Be just an instrument. And third is work with such sincerity and calmness and efficiency without excitement, with proper planning. Let there be such abilities, such thoughts in my mind. Tanme mana Shiva Sankalpam astu. See, even the Sankalpa of Shiva becomes subtler and subtler. Let there be always the Sankalpa that whatever knowledge I have, may I live up to it. Let me live by the knowledge that has come from the Lord Himself. Let me fulfill that will of that Lord. Live my life in that way. Tanme mana Shiva Sankalpamastu. Now comes the last verse. How is this achieved? And a beautiful metaphor which is so elaborately described in and so poetically described in Kathopanishad, and it is from that only the entire beauty of the chariot of Arjuna driven by Krishna in the middle of the battlefield between the two armies led Arjuna not only to success but to surrender to the will of the totality. achieved such greatness and gained the knowledge of that which is infinite, timeless, unborn, imperishable, which does not even die when this body dies. That knowledge Arjuna gained. And how? And this last verse.
Susarathiiraswani vayan manushyan Neniyate bhishubhirvajina iva Hrit pratishtham yadajiram javishtham Tanme manas shiva sankalpamastu
When the mind is calm and pure, there develops in it the faculty of the buddhi, the intellect. They are all thoughts only. And in that intellect, we have the power of discrimination, of recognition, of gaining knowledge. That's why in Gayatri Mantra we say, Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. If you have understood this, you connect it to the Gayatri Mantra, connected to Kathopanishad, connected to the Bhagavad Gita, and what amazing source of knowledge we have, each one connecting to each other. Now in Kathopanishad, Yamraj, when he is teaching Nachiketa Adhyatma Yoga, which literally in simple words translated meditation. I said he will teach you meditation also, but practice you have to do. He gives a beautiful picture of the chariot, and each of these pictures which we see in the epic, the Puranas, as fantastic and as ridiculous sometimes you may find it, are meant for our contemplation, meditation. And understand a very powerful tool, and I'm sharing it with you. These very, very powerful tools of meditation that understand that your deeper conscious mind does not function, or we say in modern language, subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind, which generally dictates your action, because most of us are only reacting, we are not acting. We only act according to our instincts and subconscious mind. Very rarely you make a conscious decision and make a change. And that change can be possible only when you have knowledge and you can make a difference. But normally we are only just living out our destiny, living out our vasanas. So normally this is how our life works. But our subconscious mind, which actually gives the blueprint, or the subconscious mind, which is called as the unmanifest mind, it gives the blueprint of actions. Just like you make a chip nowadays in the computer, then everything moves only in that limit of the chip. It understands only the language of pictures. Very few people understand the secret of the mind. If you write there danger, only those who can read Roman letters and understand English will understand the word danger. And yet the word danger does not give you the full significant meaning to your mind, and therefore even where the danger is written, you will cross that railway track. but put 2 bones and a skull and paint it red. Immediately your mind will understand and not cross that boundary, because it knows this is what's going to happen to you. A picture speaks more than 1,000 words. These pictures, metaphors, whether it is the hub, the spokes and the rim of the wheel, and since the wheel is there, the wheel has to move. And how does the wheel move? The wheel must have horses. So therefore gives a beautiful picture of a chariot, and there links this chariot to the body. This body is the chariot. The 5 sense organs of perception and 5 sense organs of actions. These are the horses. So 5 are pointed out. These are the 5 horses. The rein in that is pointed out as the mind, and the buddhi, the intellect. Here buddhi and mind is pointed out as one. The buddhi is the charioteer that guides, discriminates, knows and takes us in the direction. Therefore without buddhi we cannot know the direction. We cannot steer the chariot of our life in the right direction. So buddhi is the charioteer, and you, the jiva, the individual, the ego, is the master of the chariot. And the description is that imagine that this chariot, and now connected with this wheel, has got wobbly wheels, means not the right knowledge of Rik, Sam and Yaju, mantras, shaky in our knowledge. That part is not given in the Vedas, but if you go on thinking, in Puranas these elaborations take place, whether it is the upside down tree. These are pictures given to us to convey to us more knowledge. And for Nachiketa, how simple it is to understand. Children love fast moving cars. Youngsters want to move fast in their life. That's why they like this fast motorcycle, etc. And that Nachiketa who has rejected even this dance, music, girls and these fast moving chariots or cars, here beautifully Yamraj points out that imagine that this chariot with wobbly wheels, just like Karna's wheels came out, and that's significant that I'm not giving you my own interpretation. When the wheels came out, he could not move his chariot, or it got stuck in the mud. He could not remember all his knowledge. Therefore, stuck in the mud, our wheels do not move in life. We are so crumpled up in the problems and the muck and the dirt of the world कि आगे ही नहीं बढ़ते हम लोग. Only in conflict, about criticisms of others, etc. We don't move forward in our life. Then imagine where the wheels are moving, or while they are moving, you have horses. And these horses are either weak like the tattoos that you see on the beaches of India. And we tell, we're taking you for a horse ride. And we take them on those tattoos. If it stops, it stops. Or if you have horses which are powerful, but untamed, uncontrolled, even worse. Each horse running in its own direction. Can you imagine what it will do to the chariot of life? What it does to this body? It's clear, is it not? And at this moment, these senses, when they remain untamed, uncontrolled, see what it does? It shatters not even the health of the body, but shatters our life also. See how clear it is. So if there is a chariot with wild horses, untamed horses, uncontrolled horses, without focus, without blinders, the reins are also loose. The reins are also loose, and the charioteer doesn't know where to go. Oh, ask me many times. People take me from the hall to their own house, they can't find their way. Thanks for these days GPS. They don't even know the way. I never come by this way. The driver himself doesn't know, or worse still, the driver is drunk. Without any knowledge. Sometimes not even knowledge of driving. Guruji tells one very funny incident. He says that there was a woman in America driving at haphazardly, changing lanes, driving. Finally the police car came and she went on driving. And finally the policeman stopped. And she banged into the policeman's car. Policeman came out angrily, asked her to open the door. He said, "Give me your license." She said, "Are you stupid? Would anybody give me a license to drive?" The driver only doesn't know how to drive, where to drive, where it's going. Can you imagine what's going to happen to that chariot? That's why most people's life is going to pieces. But teaching Nachiketa through this beautiful example, whose senses are well tamed, whose mind is well reined, and whose buddhi is knowledgeable. Can you imagine how easily such a person reaches his or her goal? Then what to talk about that goal of infinite happiness, infinite knowledge? Of immortality and eternity. To attain that, you have to have this steady body, firm, strong and healthy. The senses well trained by your mind, and your mind in the hands of the Susarthi. A good, efficient, knowledgeable intellect. Then you will surely reach your goal. However, Ved Vyasa takes that to a completely different level, what is pointed out in this verse. Arjuna makes whom his charioteer? Think about it. When you make Ishvara himself the charioteer of your life. See, Duryodhan and Arjun both went to Krishna. Duryodhan wanted the army. He came to ask Krishna. He said, when Krishna comes, army comes. No? But Arjuna was at the feet. Krishna saw Arjuna first. So asked him, what can I do for you? Duryodhana said, I came first. So Krishna said, okay, what can I do for you? He said, we both want your help in the war. Now whom will Bhagwan give? Bhagwan said, one can have my full army and one will have only me, and I will not pick up a weapon. See, Duryodhana was very happy to get the army. But Arjuna chose the intelligence that created the army. And best of it was, he surrendered in the battlefield to that intellect which functions through the will of the totality. How will this chariot not lead to success and not be led to infinity? This is so beautifully pointed out in Vibhishan Gita. Now you cannot demand Bhagwan to become the charioteer of your life. Bhagwan chose to become the charioteer. How can Bhagwan become the charioteer of your life? In Vibhishan Gita it is pointed out very beautifully. Isha bhajan sarathi sujana. Isha bhajan sarathi sujana. When our minds worship, adore, meditate, or in simple words also pray and surrender to Ishvara, the totality, then when that total mind takes up to guide the chariot of your life, then that mind who is Susarthi, who can guide the senses and lead us to our goal. Let there be in my mind such sankalpa of surrendering to the Lord and fulfilling the sankalpa of Ishvara. And therefore, when Krishna tells to Arjuna, I have given you the knowledge, now do as you understand, do as you will. And Arjun says that I shall do your will. Tanme mana Shiva sankalpam astu. When we are surrendered to the Lord, to the total mind, then understand that it is Shiva's sankalpa, Ishvara's sankalpa that is fulfilled through such a devotee, through such a man of wisdom, to such a person who is surrendered. Therefore, Bhagwan's will functions through that person. And when Bhagwan's will functions to that person has no more any of his or her vasanas. No one to come, no other desire to come and break the tune of the flute player and such a mind becomes one with the infinite mind, and the infinite mind is absolutely pure, is Shiva. And when in the mind that thoughts of Shiva come, and that sankalpa takes place, that Shiva is all that is to be gained, wanted, desired, matparaha. Then the mind in that peace dissolves with the thought Shivoham, Shivoham. Becomes one with Shiva. Tanme mana Shiva sankalpam astu. So see at each verse how this understanding of what Shiva sankalpa is. Through surrender, let the will of the Lord function through me, and let there be in my mind only that Shiva which is auspicious, that truth which is Shantam, Shivam, Sundaram. And let my mind discover its own true nature. And it is discovered only through this sankalpa, this thought. Aham Brahmasmi, Shivoham, Shivoham. So with this beautiful Suktam, which is considered to be an Upanishad, which through this knowledge of the mind helps us to dissolve the mind in the one infinite and discover that supreme truth. Therefore, it is also labeled as an Upanishad. By Lord's grace, by Guru's grace. Guruji wrote a commentary on this because there was no commentary available on this. Of course, the very old traditional commentary on the entire Veda is there. Very crisp, brief, deep commentary. But he was thinking that these are mantras that we all chant, or we should be chanting, but we only chant without the meaning. But sometimes you couldn't understand what the real meaning is of these mantras. And when our Guru unfolds it to us, when I heard this from Guruji first time, what an amazing 6 verses. You found it amazing or not? You know? So just 6 verses. Now that you have understood the meaning of it, please also, you've got the commentary. If you've not yet got it, get it. If the books have gone out of sale, insist on getting you the book. Read the commentary, very simple English language is there. Read it, understand it. Then when you chant it daily, it is a reminder that send off your mind with Shiva Sankalpa. Before you go to sleep, have Shiva Sankalpa. Have the knowledge of the Vedas in it. Do not be worried about the past, present and future. All this, tum rachak kahu ko darna. You are the knower of everything. If you are there to protect me, why should I have any anxieties or worries? When the mind is calm, the intellect takes over. When the intellect is surrendered to the totality, it becomes the Susarthi. And such a Susarthi guides the chariot of your life with the senses to its goal and destination. And let your goal be the highest. Let your goal be Shiva. And let Shiva make happen. Let Shiva happen. Gurudev's got beautiful quote on Shivratri. Be dumb, be deaf, be silent. Let Shiva happen. This is meditation. Practice it daily. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.